Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by my guy on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer. Great night last night for your boys in a really nice Monday night slate, looking to bring it again to Tuesday night. Nate's got a great article up on playpicks.com for you guys. As always, make sure you are liked and subscribed to the page. Jump in those comments. A lot of people had a lot to say last night, enjoying seeing who you guys are betting on each night as well. And if you do need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, still head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Find all those local listings in your area, such as what we've got right now for tonight. Nate, let's get into those lines.
Yeah, another good slate for Tuesday. I mean, at least some of the games are good, not the ones we start off with here. Suns looking to climb back in that top spot. They're minus 12.5 at the Cavs. The Hornets with LaMelo Ball back, so that's at least interesting. Minus 7 at Pistons. Then we have an appealing one. The Nets are +2 at the Bucks in a rematch of a great game on Sunday. The Mavs are +3 at the Heat. That should be a competitive one. The Warriors are +3 at Pelicans as they go back-to-back there in that series. The Kings are -4 at the tanking Thunder. And the Raptors +9.5 at Clippers. Kawhi Leonard is back on a limited basis, but some key injury news to watch there on the Toronto side. So we're staying away from that one until we know more. But Josh, which game are you looking at as of this morning?
Yeah, to start off, I think we should definitely look at that marquee matchup in the East, Bucks and Nets, a rematch of what we just saw. Milwaukee pulling out a 3-point win 2 nights ago against the Nets, who will still be without James Harden tonight. And I'm eyeing the under as a result of that. Once again, that total hit 231 in their game the other night. That spread is currently at a big juicy. What do we got here right now? 242.5. Started about 243, so it hasn't moved too much. And I'm still going to look the under there. I'm liking what Milwaukee does on defense and what they've been able to do lately. The under has hit in 5 of their last 6 games. Due in part to the fact that in that time frame, they're 4th in defensive rating. Their offensive rating has dropped a bit, actually down to 13th. They're 2nd in opponent's field goal percentage. They're only giving up about 110 points in that time frame. Their pace has dipped just a little bit as well. And I think you're seeing a lot of Drew Holiday come into play. He was able to really put the clamps on Kyrie enough the other night to keep him from going off, despite Durant obviously still being able to do his thing no matter what. And you just look at what Milwaukee does against other teams. They don't give up free throws. And they don't turn the ball over too much at this point, which is something that they've had struggled with earlier in the season. Brooklyn does rely on turnovers a bit, even though their pace has slowed down as well. And you just look at what happens when they don't have Harden. Their offensive rating goes up about 3 points, and their defensive rating their offensive rating goes down, their defensive rating goes up. So they are obviously much worse on each side of the ball, especially on offense. So, I'm thinking tonight I'm going to eye that under. I also am considering the fact that Giannis goes crazy against the Nets, and I don't know who is supposed to match up with him on the Bucks, even if it is KD at times. So I do like Giannis 30 points plus and a win tonight after he dropped 49 the other night against the Nets. Getting you plus 210 on your money, you can double your odds there on a nice small spread. I think you can look to Giannis to score a ton of points again. And I do, like I said, I think a key factor here is going to be Drew Holiday shut down Kyrie and keeping the Nets from being able to put up too many points.
Yeah, I like the Giannis prop, but I'm not necessarily taking it with a win here. The Nets are definitely capable of bouncing back. If they're motivated, they are going to try to make that statement that, hey, we can beat this team in the second round. KD blocked down the stretch. I expect a big game from him tonight. But to your point about the under, to me, it's more about Brooklyn playing defense lately. They've done a really good job on both ends with Jeff Green and even Blake Griffin playing that kind of hybrid forward role. I think DeAndre Jordan was kind of a disaster trying to stop Giannis in the last matchup. Maybe Steve Nash will have some adjustments there to keep him in check. But yeah, I think he easily goes over 32 points, his prop, and whether it's a win or loss. But the angle I'm looking at most confidently is the Nets still underdogs plus 1.5, and I'm teasing it up to 5.5. I tried that the other night, but KD sat. If KD plays, there is almost no way the Nets are going to lose by more than a couple possessions, right? I mean, he's just an automatic bucket getter when they need it. And Kyrie can still be, even though Drew Holiday is a great defender, if both those guys are out there, I don't see them losing by much. I'm looking at the Heat and the Mavericks game in terms of some value here on the point total. These were two teams that were steady unders all season, but that's really changed in the last couple weeks. Miami, predictably of sorts, has turned it up. I mean, they've turned it on and off several times over the last few weeks, but lately they've really turned it up on offense, and they've really turned it up at home. They've won 8 of their last 10 at home. In April, they had a 114 offensive rating at home. And in their last 6, they're number 5 in offensive rating, and all 6 of those games have gone over. They've gone over in 7 of their last 10 against the West, and they've gone over in 8 of 9 games this season with a rest disadvantage. They're both on one-day rest here, but Miami played 2 games over the weekend, so it's 3rd game in 4 nights. I just look at that as their defensive rating, which is 25th over the last 6 games. And they're actually playing, they're always dead last in pace, but at home, they're up to 24th in pace, which is decent. And the Mavs are 17th in pace in their last 6. They're top 10 offense in that span. They've gone over in 7 of their last 11. The exceptions being 3 games against the Kings. That's a team that somehow has their number every time, and kept them under, and 1 game against the Lakers, which we, of course, can expect of the Lakers without LeBron to go under. So at just 215.5, I feel pretty good about these teams getting over. I also feel pretty good about Luka, who has struggled against Miami, but is really gunning right now, especially with Porzingis probably out, going over 28.5 points. And I would wait to see what his 3-pointers prop is there, because Miami actually gives up the most triples per game at home. They allow the 2nd most attempts overall. And Luka, as I said, is gunning right now. He has 4+ threes in 5 of his last 6 when the Mavs are underdogs.
Yeah, I like it. It's definitely Luka time at this point in the season. I think he's been, trying to keep his team involved as much as possible, including KP. But right now they're not sitting super pretty in that West and sitting with a tough matchup early on. So I do see him continue to try to push towards the end of the season. I'm with that. I like the way that both teams are playing on offense as of very late. So I'm with that. I think you can find some value in the total there. A game that I'm also going to eye the total once again is one that hit for us last night, the Golden State Warriors, New Orleans Pelicans under. That total last night was ballooned to about 237, which we felt very good about. That game ended at about 231 last night total. Tonight, it's right back at the same. It's about 235.5 still right now as we're recording this. And really what I'm confused about is, is anybody else seeing what Golden State and New Orleans have done on defense as of late? In the last 12 games specifically, Golden State has the number 1 defensive rating in the league. New Orleans has the number 4 defensive rating in the league. And this is really going to be another playoff atmosphere as both teams are pushing for the playoffs. New Orleans is close to, being completely out of it, to be honest, 2.5 back of San Antonio, even for that 10th seed, just to get into the play-in tournament. Things not looking good for them as they only have 1 more game against a team under 500 this year in the Hornets. So it's not going to be easy for the Pellies the rest of the way. And then you look at Golden State. I think really what we're seeing here is Draymond putting everything he has into the rest of the season. Nice triple-double the other night against this team last night. And so tonight, I'm not sure if you feel super good about a triple-double, but I do feel really good about Draymond once again being able to get 10+ boards. He's been really, really bringing it when he's got to guard someone like Zion, really steps up to the challenge. And on the second leg of a back-to-back, neither of these teams play particularly well, and they definitely don't play particularly well on offense. Under has hit in 6 of the last 8 for Golden State when they're on the second leg of a back-to-back. They only score about 107 points a game in those instances. And as we said, their defense has stepped up to a point tonight where I think that this will be a little bit more of a grinded-out game. And you'll see, the Warriors be able to keep the Pellies in check enough for both teams not to be able to score over 235 tonight for sure.
Yeah, with more minutes for guys like Bazemore and Juan Toscano-Anderson, it's almost like Draymond Green has an extension of himself out there. Those guys really athletic. They really compete. And if Draymond's bringing it like he did, then it's playoff time basically. And yes, he's going to get 10 rebounds at least. The triple-double is a
Yeah.
question mark because I don't know if he'll get 10 points, but plus 1,000 at FanDuel is very juicy. And I feel great about the plus 340 for his boards prop there, which is basically like the money line. Also appealing money line at plus 130 for the Dubs because they just won last night and they're trending in the right direction. Well, New Orleans, I think, looking at their schedule, if they lose this one, they might just pack it in. If it starts to go south, it's just like, okay, time for next season. Young team that could fold under that kind of pressure.
Yeah. If you're not in it anymore, make sure BI and Zion Williamson are not getting hurt in some garbage games at the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly. And this game, which I actually led the article with, I feel super confident about the Kings covering 4 points at OKC because the Thunder will deliberately lose and lose big. I think this line is just skewed because they played the Suns kind of close on Sunday. They played their guys, though. I think this was a situation which we've only seen twice over the last month for OKC where they're actually trying to win. They won in Boston because Coach Dagnall is from the area, and I think they tried to beat the Suns to spoil old big brother Chris Paul's playoff run. Other than that, they've lost 10 straight against losing teams, and they've lost those games by 19.8 points per game, including the biggest home loss in NBA history on Saturday. As I mentioned, they sat Ty Jerome, who's only a second-year guard. I would watch if Luguentz Dort sits tonight. That could definitely happen. Yeah, you just look at their numbers at home. They're 21-12 against the over. I don't know if I trust them to get their points, though, with just a 99 offensive rating and a negative 22 net rating in their last 8 home games. But they're coughing up 128 points per game in those contests. So Kings over 117.5 seems pretty appealing to me. Yes, they will be without De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, and probably without Harrison Barnes. But Marvin Bagley's back, which is good for points all around. You actually played very well on Sunday. And DeLon Wright closed things out against the Mavs. He is a confident player, usually takes care of the ball, and will keep this Kings offense humming. Will get Buddy Hield plenty of opportunities. I would look at Buddy's props. He played 42 minutes on Sunday with those other guards out. And OKC is basically just letting you fire away right now. So, yes, Kings -4. And if you feel like the Thunder can at least keep pace or maybe just give up 140 because they don't care, Kings money line and the over will get you plus 200.
Yeah, I love it. I continue to bet against the Thunder, who, God bless them, they are not being affected by that play-in tournament and going for it at all. They are not one of those teams who they are fully tanking at this point. So, yeah, I feel very good as you watch a team actively trying to lose by just putting their worst players out there for sure. One quick hit, Nate, that's going to be another sort of toilet bowl game, but you've got Charlotte playing Detroit. LaMelo Ball is back. These teams just played a couple nights ago, and Charlotte won by 13 against Detroit, as they're missing a couple guys. So just really keep an eye on if guys like Jeremy Grant and Mason Plumlee play tonight. If they do, I might not feel as good about 6.5 points for Charlotte. If they don't, I feel great about it. Detroit's been losing by an average of about 10 points a game in their last 5 losses, so I feel really good about that one. But that's just sort of the final quick hit for us there. And then
and that's something to look at with DFS too, because if Plumlee and Grant are out, Isaiah Stewart becomes an excellent play. If Corey Joseph is still out, Frank Jackson has been playing tons of minutes and he's still very cheap. So definitely a guy to consider there. In Toronto, we mentioned if Fred VanVleet is out, Malachi Flynn steps in is a very nice cheap play there. Marvin Bagley, pretty cheap against the Thunder, as well as DeLon Wright. I like Willie Hernan-Gomez at center. Steven Adams is already ruled out. And Draymond, Kent Bazemore on the other side of that matchup in New Orleans. And then that's all just to pay up for the studs tonight, who are very clearly Kevin Durant and Giannis. If you can somehow fit both of them in your lineup and go cheap at other positions, I think we see another nice duel from those guys. If you have to pick one, Obviously, Giannis doing a little bit more for his team, but I have no problem going with Durant at a little bit cheaper price.
Yep, I like it. A lot of nice plays available tonight for sure. That is all the time that we have. Appreciate you guys as always. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. We'll be offering you guys another gift card here in tomorrow's show, as we will be back with that one for you guys. And as for tonight, happy betting.